Welcome viewers. Today we are going to discuss a chapter called Real and Ideal Gases under Thermodynamics topic. Okay. Now, what is a gas? According to kinetic theory of gases, all gases are made up of atoms or molecules, where the atoms or molecules will be moving randomly here and there, colliding with the walls of the container, colliding with themselves, etc. Okay, means the situation can be visualized like this. Okay, this is say piston, cylindrical vessel. A gas is inside, means it is in the form of atoms or molecules like this. These molecules will never be at rest. They'll be moving here and there in a very random manner. They'll be colliding with themselves. They'll be colliding with the walls of the container. Okay, this is how we visualize a gas. Now I want to see a about topic called temperature, property called temperature. Okay, temperature, capital T. Macroscopic point of view and microscopic point of view. Okay, what is macroscopic point of view? When I'm talking about the entire system as a whole, okay, I use the word macro. When I'm talking about individual atoms or molecules, we use the word called micro. Okay, microscopic view means I'll be thinking about an individual atom or a molecule. Macroscopic means I'll be talking about the entire gas, this cylindrical vessel, this piston as a whole I'll be talking about. Okay, that gives us macroscopic view. Macroscopic property called temperature is easy to be understood macroscopically. Okay, right, means how hot the gas is. Okay, if I put one thermometer, I'll understand its temperature also. I can measure its temperature. So macroscopic version of temperature, everybody can understand, everybody can feel or realize. Okay, but my interest is now somewhat deeper. I'll go and sit beside one atom, individual atom, and see what is the proper meaning of temperature for one atom or molecule. For one atom or molecule, what is the meaning of temperature for an individual atom? That is microscopic picture I want. Okay, to understand that, we can take two samples of same gas like this, identical samples. Okay, I'll take two vessels like this, same amount of gas I'll take in both the vessels, same gas and same amount of gas. Okay, here also say oxygen gas or hydrogen gas is there, here also same oxygen or hydrogen gas is there, but one sample is at 100 degrees Celsius. Let us call this as sample A. One sample is at 100 degrees Celsius, other sample B is at 0 degrees Celsius, say. Okay, two identical samples, only thing is one sample is at same, both are oxygen or both are hydrogen, whatever it is, right? One is at 0 degrees Celsius, one is at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, macroscopically I can understand, because if I put my hand, I'll feel this as very hot. If I put my hand on this sample, I feel that it is very cold. Okay, how much cold it is or how much hot it is, thermometers can tell us. Okay, now I want to understand what is this 100 degrees Celsius or 0 degrees Celsius from atomic point of view. So what do? I will take in an imaginary experiment. I'll take one atom from this sample A and put it on the table. Okay, and one atom from the sample B and also put it on the table. This is an atom from sample A, this is an atom from sample B. Now what is the difference between these two atoms? Okay, macroscopically this sample is at 100 degrees Celsius, this sample is at 0 degrees Celsius. We can feel it and we can measure it also. But from an individual atom point of view, what will be the difference between this A and B? Okay, now just guess in what way they will be different. Because this atom is taken from a hot sample, do you expect this atom to be hot and fuming like this? And because this atom is taken from a cold sample, do you expect this, right, atom to be very cold? No. Okay, when I ask this question to my students, okay, some people say that, sir, this atom will be having electrons in excited state. Okay, in this atom electrons will be in ground state. Okay, we don't have to go into the atom now. Okay, right, means this atom will not be hot, this atom will not be cold, or this atom will not have excited electrons, this atom will not have any ground state electrons. No difference. This atom will not be a bulged one, this atom is not a solid one, like that. Okay, right, now what is the difference between this atom and this atom? Means I'll say there won't be any difference between these two atoms. There won't be any difference between these two atoms. Why? Means the macroscopic property called temperature is microscopically due to the kinetic energy of individual atoms or molecules. Okay, right? A sample is at high temperature means its atoms or molecules are having higher kinetic energy. If a sample is at lower temperature means these atoms or molecules are having lesser kinetic energy. Okay, means lesser kinetic energy means lesser velocity, higher kinetic energy means higher velocity. Means the atoms in this sample will be moving with very high velocities. They will be colliding with themselves very fastly. They will be colliding with the walls of the container also very fastly. Here the molecules will be moving very slowly. Their kinetic energy is less, their temperature is less. Okay, now in my example, in my imaginary experiment, I am saying that I have taken one atom from this sample. I have taken one atom from the sample and I am putting it on the table. I am putting it on the table means I am arresting its motion. Okay, its kinetic energy I am making 0. Similarly, I am taking out one atom from the sample and putting it on the table means, okay, I am arresting its motion also. It is also not having any kinetic energy. Now there won't be any difference between A and B. Okay, both are identical only. Now, if what happens if I take back this atom and put it in the container A, okay, since other atoms are moving with high velocity, high kinetic energy, they will come and hit our atom also with high velocity and high kinetic energy. This atom also starts moving and becomes one of them. It becomes one of the hot sample. And take back this atom B into this sample. Other atoms are moving very slowly. They will come and hit our atom or molecule also very slowly. Our atom also will start moving very slowly. It becomes a part of this sample. Okay, right? There won't be any difference. Now, what happens if you take atom B and put it in this sample A? Same thing. Other atoms are moving fastly here. They will come and hit our molecule with high velocity. Our molecule also will moving with high velocity. It becomes a part of that hot sample. Okay, right? Means macroscopic property called temperature is microscopically due to the kinetic energy of individual atoms or molecules. Okay, now how to increase the kinetic energy or decrease the kinetic energy? By increasing the temperature or decreasing the temperature. So kinetic energy, macroscopic property temperature is due to kinetic energy of atoms or molecules. This is an important concept we should keep in mind, which becomes very, very useful as we go further in this topic of thermodynamics. Okay, now what is real gas and what is an ideal gas? What is a real gas and what is an ideal gas? What are real and ideal gases? We have to see now. You take any gas. Gas contains atoms or molecules. Gas contains atoms or molecules moving here and there. Okay, because of temperature, they get kinetic energy. Means kinetic energy is by virtue of the temperature of the gas. Now, every gas molecule has kinetic energy, denoted by K, and between two atoms or molecules there are always intermolecular attraction forces. Intermolecular attraction forces. Intermolecular attraction forces are van der Waals forces, we say. Van der Waals forces. Okay, between two atoms, any two atoms or molecules, they will have what are known as intermolecular attraction forces or van der Waals forces. Because of these intermolecular attraction forces or van der Waals forces, every atom or molecule will acquire potential energy. Okay, I denote it by V. Okay, means every atom or molecule in the gas, by virtue of its temperature, they will get kinetic energy. By virtue of these intermolecular attraction forces, they get what is known as potential energy. Okay, here we have so many atoms or molecules. Okay, right? The total kinetic energy of all the atoms plus the total potential energy of all the atoms put together is called internal energy of the gas. So internal energy of the gas is sum of the kinetic and potential energies of all the molecules put together. All the molecules put together is known as internal energy of the gas. Okay, this is internal energy. Internal energy. Now, how can I change internal energy? By changing either K or by V. Okay, how can I change kinetic energy? Right, by increasing or decreasing temperature, kinetic energy keeps on changing. How can I change potential energy? By modifying the intermolecular attraction force or van der Waals forces. Potential energy keeps on changing. How can I modify intermolecular attraction forces? I have to keep on varying the distance between the molecules. Means I push the piston down, molecules get closer. Van der Waals forces effect will be different. Potential energy will be different. I push the piston up, the intermolecular distance will increase. Okay, potential energy will change. Okay, or I can put more amount of gas into this sample. Okay, again intermolecular attraction changes, right? Potential energy changes. Means by changing volume or by changing pressure of the gas, we can change potential energy. Okay, either you change potential energy or by changing temperature you change kinetic energy. Internal energy is changing. That is, internal energy of a gas is a function of temperature, pressure and volume. Okay, temperature, pressure and volume. U is a function of T comma P comma V, we write. U is a function of T comma P comma V, we write. This is about a gas or a real gas we call. Okay, right? Now, what about an ideal gas? What about an ideal gas? Now we have to see what is the meaning of ideal gas. When I say what is an ideal gas, okay, students give me the answer that gas which obeys gas laws is known as an ideal gas, sir. Okay, of course, okay, it is correct only, but it is not that. Okay, ideal gas is one which obeys gas laws. Gas laws have been defined for an ideal gas. Okay, so what is an ideal gas? Means in a real gas or gas what we have seen, the molecules are having kinetic energy by virtue of temperature, and molecule is having potential energy also by virtue of van der Waals forces or intermolecular attraction forces, such that its total internal energy is sum of kinetic and potential energies of all the molecules put together. What is an ideal gas? An ideal gas is an assumption. Okay, right? An ideal gas is one in which there are no intermolecular attraction forces. When there are no intermolecular attraction forces, okay, molecule does not possess one form of energy, that is, it won't have potential energy. Means, right, molecule will have only kinetic energy in an ideal gas. Means, what is an ideal gas? The definition is a gas in which there are no intermolecular attraction forces, or a gas in which it is assumed that there are no intermolecular attraction forces is known as an ideal gas. Okay, so ideal gas definition is a gas in which there are no intermolecular attraction forces. When there are no intermolecular attraction forces in ideal gas, potential energy will not be there for molecules. Molecules possess only kinetic energy. So internal energy of an ideal gas is purely kinetic in nature. Okay, internal energy of an ideal gas is purely kinetic in nature. Now I want to change internal energy, means I have to change the kinetic energy of the molecules. How can I change the kinetic energy of atoms or molecules? By increasing or decreasing the temperature. Means for an ideal gas, internal energy is a function of temperature only. Only by increasing or decreasing the temperature, I can keep on changing the kinetic energy, which keeps on changing the internal energy. Whereas in a real gas, okay, internal energy is a function of temperature, pressure and volume. Temperature, pressure and volume. Now, in reality, okay, in nature, do we have real gases or ideal gas? Ideal gas is only an assumption, that's all. It's ideal gas, ideal fluid. They don't exist. They won't exist. Okay, it is in physics we assume them. We assume this ideal parameter, ideal quantity, and we will frame some laws, okay, for these ideal systems. Then for practical cases, we make all modifications required. Okay. Now, in nature, what type of gas do I have? All gases are always real gases only. But all my gas laws have been framed for ideal gas. Why? Means it becomes easy to analyze an ideal gas. Okay, real gases are complicated to analyze. Okay, right? So I want to create one ideal gas now. How to create an ideal gas in the laboratory? Okay, a gas which is almost ideal I want. Okay, now we have to see how to get one ideal gas practical. Ideal gases do not exist in nature, we have to create them. Okay, what do we do in order to make a real gas into ideal gas? Means, look at these equations. Internal energy of a real gas is sum of kinetic and potential energies, whereas internal energy is simply kinetic energy of all molecules in an ideal gas. Means the difference between ideal gas and real gas is only in this potential energy. Okay, so if I can neglect this potential energy or remove this potential energy, then real gas also behaves like an ideal gas. Okay, now how to reduce this kinetic energy? Means there are two methods. How to reduce this potential energy? Means there are two methods, right? U equal to K plus V for a real gas, U equal to K only for an ideal gas. Okay, say in my example, right, kinetic energy of all molecules is around 10 joules, potential energy of all molecules is also around 10 joules. Now how to remove this potential energy? Okay, how to make this potential energy negligible? Means there are two methods here. One is, I won't touch potential energy. I won't touch potential energy. It will remain as 10 joules only, but I'll increase the kinetic energy from 10 joules to 10,000 joules. Okay, I'll increase the kinetic energy of gas molecules from 10 joules to 10,000 joules. How can I increase kinetic energy from 10 to 10,000? By increasing the temperature. Okay, so I'll increase the temperature to a very high value. Okay, potential energy remains as 10 only, but kinetic energy becomes 10,000. But 10 is negligible compared to 10,000. So I can say, I'll say that potential energy is negligible, right? Total energy is entirely kinetic in nature, so it becomes an ideal gas. Means a real gas behaves like an ideal gas at very high temperatures. Okay, means if you take any real gas and heat it at a very high temperature, we can say that it is almost like an ideal gas. Okay, but is this a correct procedure? Is this an ideal procedure? Okay, if we have one problem, what is that I am doing here? I want to reduce this. Okay, I want to remove this. Instead of removing this, I am making the other thing to a very high value and saying that compared to this, this is negligible. Is it correct method? No. In physics, we cannot accept. What in physics? In physical world also, we cannot accept. Okay, say for example, I have some problem with my finger. My finger is aching. Okay, I have a lot of pain in my finger. So I go to a doctor, sir, my finger is paining. Please do something and reduce the pain. Okay, so what do you expect the doctor to do? We expect the doctor to reduce the pain of my finger. But if the doctor takes one big stick and what you call break my hand itself. Okay, now that is a bigger problem. Okay, that much bigger pain. I'll stop worrying about my finger and start crying about my hand because he has broken my hand. Okay, now if the doctor says, see, you have forgotten about your finger pain, now I have removed it, I have made it negligible, so I have done my job, please give me my fees. Is it acceptable to us? Means in order to reduce one problem, we cannot increase the other problem. Okay, right? If a problem is there, you want to avoid that problem, you have to reduce that problem only. You cannot make something else a much bigger problem and say compared to this very small, you can neglect it. No, it is not acceptable except in politics. Okay, right? If a problem is there, they don't know how to solve that problem, so what do people do? They'll create a much bigger problem. Okay, so people forget about the smaller problem and start worrying about that bigger problem. Okay, after 3 months or 6 months, everybody realizes that bigger problem has no solution at all. Okay, so everybody becomes quiet after 6 months or 7 months. This problem also is forgotten. That problem has no solution at all. So people forget everything. Okay, that's not acceptable in physics or in physical world. Okay, right? If I have a problem with potential energy, I have to reduce potential energy only. Okay, I cannot make kinetic energy very large and say V is negligible, right? Now we have to reduce this potential energy of 10 joules only. I can keep kinetic energy as 10 joules, no issue, but V should be reduced, say, from 10 joules to 0.0001 or something like that. Now see why that potential energy is coming, or where from that potential energy is coming. It is because of intermolecular attraction forces. It is because of intermolecular attraction forces. When do we get these van der Waals forces or intermolecular attraction forces? If there are 100 atoms which are close to each other, okay, these 100 atoms will be interacting with each other due to van der Waals forces, and they will get they are getting that potential energy 10 joules. Okay, I want to reduce this 10 joules. Okay, so what do I do? Right, when do we get intermolecular attraction forces? When, if two molecules are there, they will be interacting with each other, van der Waals forces, potential energy will come. If I put only one atom in my sample, one atom will not have any intermolecular attraction forces. There should be some other molecule, no, to interact with which. Okay, right? So one atom or two atoms if I put, right, intermolecular attraction forces effect will be very less and potential energy will be very less. Okay, right? Reducing, it is like that. If there are 100 people in a room, they will be fighting with each other. Large amount of fighting will keep on taking place. Okay, if there is only one person in the room with whom he will fight, no intermolecular attraction forces, no fighting. Okay, means one atom is always ideal. Remember, one atom is always, whichever atom it is always ideal only. Just like one person going in on a journey, he will be very ideal. But if he is going in a bus or in a train with all his friends for a picnic, he will start making all allam gulla. Okay, right? So one atom is always ideal, but I cannot put one atom in the sample and do experiment. That is not possible, right? So what do? I'll reduce the number of atoms. Instead of millions and millions and millions of atoms, I'll put only 1000 atoms or 1000 atoms. That's all. 1000 atoms or 100 atoms I'll put in the sample, such that the distance between molecules will change. Internal potential energy decreases, V will decrease. Say now kinetic energy remains 10 joules only, but potential energy becomes 0.0001 joule. 0.0001 joule is negligible compared to 10 joules. So I can say internal energy is mostly in the form of kinetic energy only. That is, okay, what is that happening when I am reducing the number of atoms from 1 million to 1000? I am reducing the pressure of the gas. Okay, means by reducing the pressure of the gas, right, less number of molecules are there, intermolecular attraction forces effect will be less, internal potential energy will be negligible, so gas starts behaving like an ideal gas. Means now when can we have a real gas behaving like an ideal gas? There are two options. At extremely high temperatures, real gases behave like ideal gas, but that is not a correct or ideal solution, I told. At reduced pressures also. Okay, at reduced pressures, real gases can be approximately considered as equal to ideal gas. Okay, now if in the examinations questions keep on coming, real gases behave like ideal gases at high temperature, high pressure, low temperature, low pressure, like that. The option is high temperature, low pressure. If options are very specific, like real gases behave like ideal gases at, if the four options are at high temperatures, at low temperatures, at high pressures and at low pressures, okay, which option is more appropriate? It is low pressures is more appropriate answer. So the internal energy of ideal gas is entirely in the form of kinetic energy only. Kinetic energy depends only on temperature. So for an ideal gas, U is a function of temperature only. U depends on temperature only. That is, if you keep temperature constant and vary any other parameter like pressure or volume, internal energy will not change. Okay, that is dou U by dou V. That is change in internal energy for change in volume at constant temperature. Okay, when temperature is constant, internal energy is purely a function of temperature. So keeping temperature constant, even if you make volume change, internal energy is not going to change. So dou U by dou V at constant T will be equal to 0. Okay, for an ideal gas. Similarly, keeping temperature constant, even if we change pressure also, internal energy is not going to change. So dou U by dou P, right, at constant temperature is also equal to 0 for an ideal gas. Okay, right? Now Now, throughout our discussion, we will be mostly talking about ideal gases only. Okay, real gases means there are different types of real gases. Different scientists have visualized real gases in different ways. Okay, one such gas is called Van der Waals gas, real gas or Van der Waals gas. The equation of state for it will be P plus A by V square into V minus B equal to RT. Okay, this is called Van der Waals gas equation, with Van der Waals real gas, where A and B are Van der Waals constants. Okay, this is the equation of state for 1 mole of Van der Waals real gas. Okay, for n moles of Van der Waals real gas, P plus n square A by V square into V minus NB equal to nRT. Equal to nRT. This is Van der Waals real gas equation for n moles of the gas. Okay, but we don't use real gas equations. Okay, in our throughout our lecture we will be talking about ideal gas only. In the examination also, only when the question specifically says that it is a real gas or Van der Waals gas, we have to use these equations. Okay, otherwise all gases are taken as ideal gases only. Now what is the ideal gas equation? The equation of state for an ideal gas is PV equal to nRT. PV equal to nRT, where R is the molar gas constant 8.314 joule per mole Kelvin. Okay, N is number of moles. N is number of moles. Okay, right? This is the place where most of the students do silly mistakes. Okay, in that examination tension, even they know they commit silly mistakes in taking N value correctly. What is number of moles? Number of moles is, mole is the gram equivalent of molecular weight. Okay, that is, you take for example CO2. What is molecular weight of CO2? For carbon weight is 12, O it is 16, O2 32. 32 plus 12 44 means molecular weight of CO2 is 44. So if I take 44 grams of CO2, then it is 1 mole of gas. 1 mole of CO2 means 44 grams. Okay, right? Similarly, nitrogen gas. Nitrogen molecular weight is 14 plus 14, 28 means 28 grams of nitrogen is equivalent to 1 mole. Hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas means H2. Okay, H2 is molecular weight will be 2 grams of hydrogen. Or oxygen gas means O2 gas, 16 atomic weight, 32 will be the molecular weight. 32 grams of oxygen means 1 mole of oxygen. Means either you take 32 grams of oxygen or 44 grams of CO2 or 28 grams of nitrogen, all are 1 mole of gas only, right? And what is the 1 mole? What is the common thing among them? Okay, all of them will have Avogadro number of molecules. Okay, so that is Avogadro's hypothesis. 1 mole of any gas contains, that's Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 to the power 23, okay, per gram mole. That we'll see what is the significance of that number in physics. Okay, Avogadro number. So 1 mole means 32 grams of, or any gram equivalent of molecular weight. In the examination questions come, 8 grams of oxygen is expanded from so and so volume to so and so volume at so and so temperature. What is the change in pressure? Like that, if questions come, 8 grams of oxygen means, right, I want to use this equation here in that, right? How much should be the N value we should take? What is N value we should take means, 8 grams means, most of students, oxygen means, first thing that comes to mind is 8, atomic number is 8, so they take N as equal to 1. Some students, they'll remember that oxygen weight is, atomic weight is 16, so 8 grams means half mole. No, oxygen gas means it is O2, molecular weight is oxygen is 32, so 8 grams means 1/4 of gram molecular weight, so N should be equal to 1/4. Okay, similarly, 1 gram of hydrogen, hydrogen atomic number is 1, weight is also 1, but it is hydrogen gas means H2, molecular weight is 2 grams. If I take 1 gram in that problem, it should be half mole. Okay, one should be careful in taking the right value of N, whether it is 1 or 1/2 or 1/4 or 1/8, like that. Even if I take 1/2 or 1 mole also, whatever answer we get, that will be there in the options, because the examiner will be knowing, right, what common mistakes students do and what type of answer they will get when they do that mistake. That will also be given in the options. Okay, so we should be careful in choosing the number of moles here. Okay, so I'll stop this video for this point. We'll continue in the next session. Thank you.